Isaac is a young guy. He's 25 years old. He lives in a small town in Sweden together with his girlfriend. He works as a daycarer for old people. Um he makes home visits and takes care of old people. But his life is okay. He has a girlfriend since 6 months. They already live together. He's very much in love. Um, and then he gets contacted one day by his father, who he hasn't had any contact with for 20 years. He left the family when there was a very bad accident that killed Isaac's mother when he was 6 years old. And now his father contacts him and he says, I have terminal cancer. I'm going to die soon. I want to meet you before I die. I want to talk through the things that happens when you were a kid. And his father has lived a very different life. He's a very successful international modern artist whose his works are in every big arts museum all around the world. And he has exhibitions all the time around the world. He's very wealthy. He has a wealth of, like, I guess in dollars it would be 10 or 20 million dollars. And Isaac and his girlfriend mother, they go to visit him at his summer house on the island of Fårö. And when Isaac is there, he says, I want to testament my fortune to you. I want to give it to you. I don't have any other kids. You can have this money, but I want you to stay a little longer here, and so we can get to know each other a little bit better. And Isaac accepts doing this, but then of course there's a few strings attached to this inheritance. So he gets together with his girlfriend. They get sucked into a game where you don't know what's real or what's just imagination. The interesting thing here is what would you yourself be willing to do in that situation? What of your because Isaac has been brought up with his grandfather, who's a very good man, a very moral man, who's always been there for Isaac. He's given him safety and security. He's always been there, but he's also a very moral man, and he has this is right, this is not right. And so then when you're offered that kind of money, which will change your life forever, what of your convictions would you be willing to start picking on? Like, for one of them is that you don't drive a car when you have had alcohol, when you've drink your beer or wine or whatever. You don't, just no. That's what Isaac has been taught. And then his father, after a night out, when they've gone to a great restaurant, his father says, if you drive this Lamborghini back to the house, it's the middle of the night, no cops outside, just drive it up to the house and the car is yours. Would you be willing to do that? It's a Lamborghini. It's worth like $400,000 maybe. You can drive it up there. You can sell it. You can give $200,000 to the Red Cross or Amnesty International, whatever, and you've still done something very good with that money. So now these kinds of questions were really interesting to pose to the reader and to myself, of course. What would I do in that situation? I love writing dialogue. And it was one of the things that I knew when I went from television to writing books. Because I've done so much of it, and I've also written a lot for live shows and so on. So I know that I can write great dialogue. So that's one of the things that I love most to do, and just letting the characters run away with the dialogue and trying to find a natural rhythm in it. And then, of course, editing it afterwards. But I think that's really really fun to me, and it's I think a lot of TV shows in Sweden or maybe Europe at all but maybe it's like a Scandinavian thing, that it's all dialogue is almost looked down upon a little bit, um, because it's in film especially, but also in television, you're supposed to show everything visually. But I think the other way around. I think great dialogue can have a lot of subtext and tell you a lot about characters that they don't want to reveal. So I think there's that interesting layer which I try to use. That was one thing that I loved about writing My Father's House, was this writing about a young couple they've been together for 6 months. They're very attracted to each other. They have sex all the time. They're very much in love, but they haven't had their first fight yet. They're tiptoeing around each other, and Isaac is not used to having fights at all. He's very conflict avert, you could say. So that was something that I could relate to, and I remembered how it was for me when I was younger. I always had that conflict aversion. So that was interesting to write for me, building up to that big moment when everything just has to blow up and you have this huge fight, and he thinks, okay, now it's over, and then she tells him, no, we had a big fight, it's not over. So that was also one thing about this book that I really enjoyed writing. I don't know how much I should reveal about what the final test is from the father's side, but it's very radical, you could say. Two different ways of being a man, where his grandfather, who taking care of him, is like a positive male role model, you could say, and his father is, for me at least, a more negative male role model. But his father, he wants. If I take the perspective of the father, he would say that Isaac has been brought up in this small town by this narrow-minded grandfather who just there's so many don'ts, and so many things that have boxed Isaac in. So from his father's perspective, he's trying to liberate him and show him the power that he has inside of him. He's an alpha male. He can, just go out into the world and take whatever he wants. That's what his father has done, and he has had a great life. So he wants something like that for his son. That's the way his father sees it, and it's for Isaac to find what's a good life for him. What's a good how are you a good man? It's something that he has to find out by himself.